guys enjoyed the event. Tune in to the Fightlete Report show.
All right, thank you everybody for joining us on the most action-packed 2 hours on ChicagolandSportsRadio.com. Latina Epicina.
Hey.
My name is Motaz Oscar, and shout out to the Fightlete Report.
And I'm sure you're excited once again to compete. It's been a while since we've had you on the show. Last November, of course, that you were at Pure Championship Fighting, I believe it was.
Yeah, Pure Combat.
And so, wow, yeah. Pure Combat, yeah. So definitely, I want to introduce who you are to all the fans, and we're talking to Tobias Heathen Baker on the Fightlete Report to discuss the upcoming grappling super fight against Charlie Gilpin at Submission Underground. You know, check it out. It's May 30th, UFC Fight Pass. It's happening live, so make sure to check out the details. Go to submission.com. And of course, he trains the American Top Team, Portland, Oregon, and we're welcoming him on for a second time in the Fight Report. So, how's it been for you, Tobias, during this time, during the pandemic, and has it affected your ability to train?
Yes and no. So what it has affected has been how we've been training and who, and luckily a lot of people have like their home gyms and stuff like that. And I've been able to train alongside some of the guys that are on this card, you know, especially before the pandemic, when I first moved to Portland and made the switch to American Top Team. Luckily I was able to train with you know, guys like Brent and Austin and Don Stoner, who are all in this card. But I think the pandemic has just caused more of like a back in prohibition times, you know. Everybody just kind of training in secret, and you know, if you're not training in secret and you're just doing strength and conditioning, I mean, power to you. At least, you know, you're doing something.
For sure. I mean, with grappling, there's no way to social distance. Rather, you know, you have to get in there and be on top of one another. So I'm sure that's not easy. You know, you guys all have to kind of make a bond ahead of time before you each training session, right?
Yeah. I mean, we take a risk every time we go out in the cage. You know, so for fighters, that risk isn't so. But for when it comes to grappling, you know, there are certain things you want to do and you want to follow these guidelines, but I don't believe the stories that I've heard, and I just don't think that the media has been doing a good job of feeling everything with it either. But you know, as long as you're clean and you're hygienic, which is most people that compete and most people that grapple, all these people have hygiene, because you know, your body is your vessel, and it's everything. It's how you make money. So you're going to take good care of it. And, you know, and it was already a rule of thumb. If you're sick, stay home. Don't go to the gym. Like, you know, so, you know, a lot of lessons are learned from these times. That's for sure. You know.
Sure. And of course, your last fight didn't go your way. You know, you lost by submission. So since then, what do you feel has been the difference in your training?
I mean, my last loss, you know, came from submission. So I knew that I needed to work more in that area. And I think that that's all that I've been doing since my last fight, you know. After my last fight, I kind of hurt my knee a little bit. But after that, you know, I got back in the gym and I got right back on the horse and really buckled down on my jiu-jitsu. And then after I moved to American Top Team, now I'm dealing with some of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners, you know, in the country. And you know, Fabiano Scherner is an amazing professor, and I feel like I've already learned a lot from him. And I there's so much more that I can. I'm really looking forward to it. But I feel like preparing me for this match, I have all the tools that I need to establish that and show that I have a good ground game.
And this will be your first competitive bout since joining the American Top Team, correct?
Yes, it would be my first time representing ATT.
Nice. So we're very excited for that as well.
Yeah, it's kind of been like a huge accomplishment to some, but to me, I'm just happy to be representing where I train now, and I always pay homage to where I came from, and and when I started out at Art of War, and I'm thankful to be able to be coached by such amazing coaches, because that's where all my I want to say knowledge stems from is just being able to work with so many different guys and learn from them and establish my own game from it. So yeah, now I'm just excited to be a part of the crew now.
And talk about your history in grappling, and why is this the best opportunity for you now to display your BJJ skills?
Well, I got lucky. I was presented with the opportunity by Heather Standing, who's the matchmaker, and she always does a really good job putting on great fights, and not just great fights. She was running the FCFF. Now she's the cage sport matchmaker, and has been doing a fantastic job of just putting all of these things together and creating what fans are going to enjoy watching. Just looking at the card that we have coming up, it's going to be a lot of exciting matches for a grappling card. The undercard is stacked. The main event, obviously Craig Jones, the man to beat. Everybody wants to beat that guy. So
yeah,
I'm excited for it. Definitely really, really excited.
and you believe submission round has some different rules than other grappling events that you were used to. The fact that it's how well do you feel you're going to adapt to that environment, seeing that you have competed in mixed martial arts before?
I think very well. It's in a cage, B, it's 5-minute round, it's a 5-minute round, and it's submission only for that 5 minutes. So, I mean, for me, that's how I'm usually going into a fight is, in that first 5 minutes, I want to get a finish. I want to stop this fight. I want to stop this match. And I think I've always had that mindset. So when I was presented with like the rules and I read them over, and they're really simple, and a lot of the times these matches do rely on the overtime, and it's EBI overtime rules. You get 3 rounds, fastest escape or fastest submission. So I really like it because it creates a sense of urgency in the grappling. You can't just lay there and you can't really stall, because if you stall, it's going to hurt you in the long run.
Sure. Definitely. And what about your opponent, Charlie Gilpin? He defeated Jake Smith at Submission Underground 13 by submission. Did you watch that? And what was your take on it? It was not a clear submission victory. Like, it was kind of weird how it, happened, right? That with the tap out and everything. It was more like a transition.
Yep. Anything can happen in those scramble situations, It comes down to it where, sometimes it's just that guy's day. And at the end of the day, Jake had to worry about his fight career. He fights for Bellator, and he doesn't want to risk it on a submission match like that. But maybe in a fight, that scenario is going to go a little differently. Trying to avoid injury at all costs, though, is really important, especially in a submission only event like this. And depending on whether or not you're getting paid that much, it's that definitely weighs in on it. So I definitely think it was an early tap, and I definitely think if it came down to it, it'd be a different story. But at the end of the day, he got that win, and I thought his wrestling was all right. It looked kind of weak, so I'm excited to go in there and display my wrestling and show why it's a different level.
Definitely. And what are the precautions being taken for the event? How comfortable are you with them?
They're good. I believe they do like temperature checks and testing, and Craig, not Craig, sorry. Chael Sonnen changed the rules. So now that you have to wear a long sleeve rash guard and a long sleeve spats when you compete to avoid, as much skin contact as possible. Even though you're going to be sweating in each other's faces, but uh, you can only avoid it so much. And obviously, they clean the cage in between every match. So I think they're taking the most precautions that you can possibly take in this scenario. So you can only control so much. So I'm excited to just go in there, compete. And I already know it's going to go by really fast. It's going to be a 5-minute round, man. That's nothing. We do, at least 8 5-minute rounds, on a good no-gi day. So it's very, going to be very quick.
Definitely. And with the fans in the venue, do you see much of a difference? Because, I feel like with the grappling tournaments, not much noise is happening in the crowd, except like, when a big finish happens, a big submission, when you see that kind of, tug of war between a submission. But there isn't much noise coming from the fan typically, as opposed to like a UFC event. So not much of a difference for you, would you assume?
Not at all. One of the things that I've noticed about the whole no fans and the no really too much crowd noise in the background has created a lot of nice scenarios. Like I've seen guys being able to think a little more clearly, come in a little less nervous, and just excited to be there, compete, and get the job done. So I feel like that's going to apply to me as well. I've watched all of the events that have happened since quarantine, and I've been able to kind of draw off them, and I've watched the SUG matches, and I've had teammates compete in SUG. So I feel like I've really got a feel for everything going on, and it's just going to be going in there and getting the work done.
Why are you getting your hand raised Sunday? How do you feel you plan on getting everyone at their home watching?
Sorry, you cut out there. Will you repeat the question?
Why do you feel you're getting your hand raised on, and how do you plan on doing that by getting everyone at home watching on their feet after your performance?
I definitely plan on some exciting takedowns and a quick submission. I definitely want to surprise the people. I always tell people don't blink, because I'm going to come in there and I'm going to come out hard and fast. And, I hope that, he's paying attention, and, especially the crowd at home, because I'm going to be coming in there with some heat.
Sounds good. Tobias Heathen Baker, check it out. Of course, he's going to be in a tough matchup against Charlie Gilpin at Submission Underground 13. Check it out, May 30th. Of course, UFC Fight Pass is the only place to do that. And we appreciate you being on the show. Thank you for, the opportunity for you to compete. Thank you for going out there and, putting on, entertainment and sports for us during this time. We appreciate that as well.
Absolutely.
And if there's anyone you'd like to thank, go ahead. And during the pause of regional MMA, of course, we hope that comes back so you can continue your career then. Absolutely. But this is definitely a nice outlet for you, right?
Yes, absolutely. And I'm very grateful that a lot more people are even watching now. Yeah. I've seen the numbers have been going up for them, and a lot more people are tuning into grappling too. So it's nice to just see the community, continue to thrive and have the opportunity to just be a part of it and be on SUG and represent my team. So big shout out to ATT, big shout out to Dodge Sports. I've got such great managers out here getting me interviews and getting my name out there and just helping me gain that experience and prepare mentally for this week and treating it like a fight week, and just being able to compete is really good for my career and for me. So I'm just thankful for all the fans out there watching, and tune in next Sunday.
Awesome. We appreciate your time on the Fightlete Report, Tobias, and best luck to you Sunday, and we look forward to talking to you again.
Absolutely. Have a good day, man.
You too. Tobias Heathen Baker, everybody. Take care.